All right, I think we're going.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are going to be a mid-sized company, and you're a customer that's looking to buy a health and wellness service for your company. Does that make sense?
How much revenue do you want us to pretend to have?
Just 250 employees. We'll go based off that.
Can you try to speak up just a little bit?
Yeah. All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight. My name is Kevin Bloom. I'm the CEO and founder of The Modern Mind. So I want to start off today's presentation with two questions. How many of you all feel distracted and stressed at the workplace? Okay. How many of you all feel like that's affecting your performance at work and your well-being once you get home? All right. All right, well, I'm here to bear the news to you. There's science-backed research now that says that that's absolutely true. But this isn't just affecting you as the company leadership or myself, it's affecting your employees and your entire team. If we don't do something to remediate this, not only is it going to affect the bottom line of your company, but it's also going to affect the health and welfare of your people. So I'm here to talk to you guys about a solution. But first, I want to talk about a few key statistics. Number one being $300 billion here in the United States is lost each year due to issues with productivity, absenteeism, and employee turnover. 83% of US workers say that they're stressed at the workplace. $1 trillion worldwide is being lost in productivity due to issues with depression and anxiety. And then finally, if you guys can think about your minds on a day-to-day basis, according to Harvard, they are wandering 47% of the time. Now, if you bring this into two main ideas here, one is your employees' health, when we talk about things like depression and anxiety. And number two, we talk about the performance of your company in terms of the bottom line, which is ultimately to make money for your organization. And the solution to that is what here at The Modern Mind we call mental training. But before I get into that, once again, my name is Kevin Bloom. I'm the CEO and founder of The Modern Mind. I'm an Army combat veteran. I'm a certified mental training coach. So why did I decide to start this company? So as an artillery officer in the US Army, I was deployed in the Middle East, and I was in charge of forces in a complex environment. I've been an avid meditator for many years and an advocate for training the mind. But one day, while I was on duty, an IED exploded basically to the point where you can see that table right there, but somehow I'm still here, I'm good to go. And what I learned from that is the fact that the mental training at that point allowed me to continue to push through that mission and to handle the stress that continued to ensue afterwards. And what I saw from coming back home was that while I trained over there, I trained things like awareness, attention, focus, and stress resilience to myself and my platoon. What I found that was when I came back here was that same skill can be translated and adapted to the corporate world and to our everyday lives. And that's how The Modern Mind was born. And what we're here to do is to modernize the watered down mindfulness and meditation movement in a way that is tangible and results driven for your organization. By equipping your employees with the tools and techniques that they need to perform at a high level and to improve their well-being. And so what is mental training? When you think about, for any of you guys that work out, right, we focus on things like strength, endurance, flexibility. We focus on that through reps and sets. So mental training, if you think about the same reps and sets, exercises, focused on four key pillars of the mind, which are awareness, attention, emotional intelligence, and stress resilience. And how we do that is through a four-step approach. So right now, I'm currently partnering with Brown. I'm going there, doing research with them on how does mental training affect the common individual in a variety of different industries. We're taking that information, creating a curriculum for organizations based off your needs and desires. And then step two, doing guided experiences, guided practice through myself as a meditation mindfulness teacher, as well as other certified teachers in my organization. The third step of that process is repetition. So we talk about the same thing, reps and sets when it comes to physical training. That's the same way that you train the mind. For us to create new pathways, we have to do the reps and sets in order to do so. And then step four is that rewiring. Rewiring the brain to focus more, be more attentive, and be more resilient to the stressors that come in our everyday life. So what are the main services that we offer. Number one is a mental training workshop. That's where we sit with your company for a day. We explain the benefits of this, and we give them very key exercises that are going to help out your employees at home and at the workplace. Number two is one-on-one training for those of your employees that are interested and want to kind of dive deeper into this. Number three is group training, where we really focus on how can we improve the mind in a way that's going to foster collaboration, creativity, and communication amongst your teams, which we all know is important. And then finally, mindful leadership training, where we focus on how can we bring this mental training in a way that's going to help the key leaders in your organization make better decisions. So when I go into the ROI for your company, right? We're trying to continue to make money here. According to Harvard, the ROI for a business that participates in a wellness program is 6-to-1. According to the National Institute of Health, companies that institute a mental training program similar to this ultimately result in a $3,000 per employee increase in productivity per year, 20% decrease in absenteeism, and a 30% decrease in healthcare costs. And you can see those statistics, multiply that across the employees in your organization, you can see your ROI basically right there. Now, why are we different than many of the other wellness companies? I've talked to you guys about being backed by science. This isn't just going on YouTube and trying to figure this out. This is legit Ivy League backed science. Number two, certified. And number three, veteran owned and operated. So when I talk about that, I talk to you guys about that experience. That's near and dear to my heart, and I'm very proud of the fact that I got to lead in a complex environment overseas, and I get to lead this organization into something I truly care about. So let the Modern Mind be the partner that is building your mentally strong, efficient, and resilient workforce that thrives under pressure today. Thank you all very much. Any questions? Business model, if you were, why would you or why would you not do this? That kind of stuff. Is that good?
If you take the mic, if you're asking your feedback.
I feel like the last part of your.
It doesn't. It's just for the camera.
Oh, hello.
I thought this was going to make me sound louder.
The last part of your speech was wonderful. It was engaging. And then your personal story with the military, awesome. I feel like you should almost lead with that. Talk about the ROI. Draw attention to the benefits, the fiscal benefit that these companies will have if they acquire some sort of mindfulness acquisition or contract with you guys, right? Draw attention to that. It is powerful. That's good. And I love how you say Ivy League backed, right? VCs are going to love that. People who want to invest in it, company heads are going to love it. I suggest you lead with that. And again, your personal story.
I like that. I think starting off with that.
I was also artillery, man.
Oh, no way. Yeah. Nice. Fantastic.
All right, so I'm kind of curious about the implementation of the Modern Mind in a workplace.
Yep.
I have been a part of companies that tried to offer we have health benefits and you can do yoga and all this, and then the utilization of that would be like maybe 10% of the company, right. And the people teams would try to have like contests around, everyone do yoga for a week and you'll be on a team and da-da-da.
Right.
And then no one ended up using it after a month or two. And as important as this kind of work is, I can see this exact service falling into that same camp for employees and employers.
Checking the box.
And maybe they're just checking a box and then no one actually uses it, and then what happens afterwards. So I'm curious about how you really ensure that the Modern Mind is implemented and is a core part of the employee experience, and then how you work with that company to make sure their utilization rate is as high as possible.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a really, really good question. I think when I think about it, that mental training workshop would be like the high level thing, and then you start to get basically engagement from that point forward within the company, right? You start to see like, oh, is this really going to do that? That was my thought process. Don't go all in and be like, hey, I'm going to train every single one of your employees to do mental training, But that's a really good, I got to think about that. I like that.
And just to
That's a good, yeah. Oh yeah, because I feel like a lot of times you go in there and it's like, I don't want to do that. I got so much stuff to do, I can't, It's a good point.
And just to add to that, So I work in the HR space, and this is a pretty crowded market because mental well-being, mindfulness, mental performance, mental health is really topical right now.
Yeah.
So you're on trend, but it is, from my perspective, really crowded. So, like for example, the engagement point is, I think, spot on. That Zach was it? Yeah, that Zach was saying. So like, we really struggle at our company to get people. We have modern health, we have EAP, we have wellness webinars, and we probably get like 5% of our employee base showing up to that. And so adding to that with a workshop around sort of mental well-being, mental performance even, like that's really, really hard. And so how are you, I think the key to me is how are you linking strongly that mental resiliency with performance? And then I think the unlock could be managers, right? So if you can get the manager layer of an organization saying, actually, I believe in this and I want my direct reports to participate in this because focus, because attention, because resiliency with like all of the change that's happening, all of that. Have a think about how you think about that manager layer and how you get that engagement going. And then I think you tried to answer this question, right? I remember in your pitch there was a moment where you're like, how are we differentiated from the competition? I think, I don't remember exactly what you said, but I would suggest have a think about like really being very clear on what is your competitive advantage. I've seen a lot of companies in this space, a lot of new entrants in this space, and for me as a buyer, I'm kind of like,
what's the difference?
I'm like, like they all seem like they're doing the same thing, and so, for me maybe it's something around that performance aspect, right? Because so far what I've seen folks talk about is like the kind of wellness, well-being, right, and less linking to the performance. So that might be an interesting thing to double-click on.
Okay. I like that a lot.
So, and with this, like I've had wellness, like incentives in the past.
Yeah.
Most of it is like supposed to occur not during company time.
Okay.
Like run for an hour every day, or like meditate for 30 minutes, and it's all off of company time. So it's like, well, most people aren't going to invest this time, like their time off. Is your plan going to happen on company time? Like,
that's the goal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like meditating 30 minutes would be included in the workplace.
Yeah, like that would be part of like the workshop day. That would be,
And how frequent would they be?
I'm still trying to figure. So they were talking in the last group. I'm still trying to narrow that down because, I mean, ideally as little time as possible. You know what I mean? Because I know that that's how the company's going to look at it. So I'll have to refine that down a bit.
To where it's beneficial for the employees.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's probably a happy medium there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean, a middle ground. So.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, like, along the same lines.
Yeah.
Something like so I practice meditation a lot, and something like that is the benefit you reap it when you practice it like every day.
Yeah.
And you build, like, kind of like you were saying you did practice. And there's a lot of apps like Headspace, Calm, which are very well adopted throughout companies, right? So how would you differentiate from that when daily practice is the important thing? And then I'm assuming those apps, the contracts with corporations are probably fairly small compared to like having someone in person giving workshops. That's my understanding.
That's a really good question. I think that's the thing with like, I feel like a lot of apps, it's like fantastic, but a lot of people need the accountability and like the mentorship part of it. Because it's one thing to say you're going to do something, and then you get the app, and you're like, okay, I got the app. But to actually have someone there with you to be like, hey, like we're here for the next however many weeks, once a week, we'll meet with you. But that's a really good point. I like that. It's all really good feedback.
If we have time.
Yeah.
So I have ADHD. I've had MDD in the past. I have PTSD, not from a combat scenario or anything, but like all of these things greatly contribute to me kind of fighting myself every single day I'm trying to get anything done.
Yep.
And I know for a fact that like most ICs and mid-level managers I've ever talked to also deal with the same thing. However, the idea of opening that discussion in the workplace it's very taboo still, even though there is like more wellness programs and all this. Like, I microdose on mushrooms. I can't tell that to my coworkers because I might not be embraced. So how are you going to culturally be able to open this up?
Yeah.
Like, in addition to all the other barriers, like how are you going to make this part of the culture for a company?
That's a good question. I'll think about that.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you.